So, in the last year since I started therapy, I've done a lot of reading on mental health, attachment, and personality disorders, and the impact on relationships. And I have a few thoughts and notes that I want to share. So, whether the label or issue is narcissism or avoidant attachment or reactive attachment disorder, there appears to be a very high correlation to mothers specifically. And a term that I've read about is a mother wound. So, a mother wound is the pain, trauma, and unresolved emotions we might have inherited from our maternal lineage. And apparently, so the relationship of a young boy with his mother plays a foundational role in how his sense of self worth and identity will develop. But crucially, that relationship with his mother will determine how he functions in all future relationships, that relationship with the mother. So, mothers, this is my opinion, are constantly coddling their sons. They're not holding them accountable, supporting them, doing very basic things for them, lowering expectations, going to them for more intellectual advice, sort of treating them very early as the men in their lives, which can be very damaging. Mothers, on the other hand, treat their daughters with a stricter, harsher hand, leaving them out of meaningful conversations, treating them as the logistics officers and secretaries of the family. All that also can be damaging. So I have two reactions. First, it feels like so many people are living with childhood traumas, which means so many of our parents have damaged us. So many of our parents. There is so much relational dysfunction coming from our parents. And for that, for the most part, that trauma is generational because every single time you're watching a video on Instagram or you're talking to your therapist or you're reading, all it talks about is inner child, inner child, inner child. And it just seems like so many people have damaged inner child. And if you have damaged inner child, it means it's generational. It's from your parents. And it just seems to cut across so many relationships. So it's like mind boggling the extent to which we have been damaged by our parents. It's just mind boggling. And if you date, you're going to encounter so many men who are damaged. You're like, oh my God, like the impact of parents is just astounding. So that's my first reaction is how vast and far reaching this damage from our parents is. But my second reaction too is we are passing this baggage on to our own kids. And I feel like, this is my opinion, I feel like we cannot heal the current men we are dealing with. We need to forget trying to heal or change the current men in our lives and focus on healing ourselves and our kids. Let's call it a bad batch. Like let's call it a write-off. Let's call it like a bad debt. It's a wrap. There isn't anything we can do about the current men. It's a wrap, it's a wrap, it's a wrap. And I don't think we need to bother, as women, I don't think we need to bother sending the paragraphs and the essays and the emails and the voice notes and trying to get the partner to see the light, trying to get them to understand us. Nope, 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 nope. We need to look forward. We need to look inward and downward, actually. We need to save our kids from becoming the men we don't like. Like when we're so focused on managing the men and trying to convince them and explain things and get them to understand, we're losing sight of ourselves and our kids. And I feel like the current generation of men, honestly, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. So I think the extent of inner child damage in this generation is a bit too much. There aren't enough therapists to heal them all, to heal us all. This is like a science fiction movie. This is like was it Interstellar? We need to save the kids. We need to save the kids from carrying on our poor parenting and the trauma we are bearing. Like there needs to be a boot camp for mothers, not to discuss our men, but to focus on healing ourselves and consequently healing our kids. In my opinion, it's just too deep, it's too prevalent, the extent of damage. And maybe I'm being a pessimist, but I feel like it's a wrap. Let's move on. Let's forget trying to heal the men we're dealing with. And let's focus on ourselves and our kids. Let's not let this thing continue. My opinion.